There's many things well, I mean, for one thing, like I said, the Titanic and some of my other LS ships had actually towed people across the oceans. Like I said, some ships would get out there about a third of the way, and then they would run out of coal, or they would run out of something, or something would break, and we would end up yanking them across the ocean. We'd, just send out. Like I said, some of my ships would actually pull other ships off the beach, or we would pull ships, across the ocean sometimes. You know, if they needed help, or if they had a problem about halfway out, a lot of times, something broke, or or something happened, and they would try and limber along, and sometimes they would like to get a little extra boost or a tow, So if one of my White Star ships was in the area, they'd come by and throw on. They would throw a rope, and sometimes we'd charge them, sometimes they wouldn't, or whatever. It didn't really matter, like I said, since, we were very much since you're going our way, because we're going to be towing you. It's like, well, we're going here. We'll take you as far as we can. So, we would throw lines across, and lash the ship to ours, or just simply throw a tow line across, and we'd end up pulling a ship sometimes through the ocean, a little ways, at least, or something like that. We rescued a lot of ships. Like I said, White Star Lines was a shipping company that liked to rescue other ships just to say we did it. So, so like I said, and there was a standing reward if we ever sent out a distress signal. Um, we would pay other people to basically rescue our ships, or come to our aid. But like I say, most people would come to our aid just because of who we were, White Star Lines, Lucifer White Star Lines. So whenever we sent out a distress signal, usually like the French would respond, or just about everyone would drop what they were doing pretty much and almost go to Lucifer White Star Lines aid. Like I said, I was the one person that if I ever sent out a distress signal, everyone would respond to it. They used to say that. They said if Lucifer Star ever sends out a distress signal, everyone will respond, because he's the one that helped everyone else. So, and I had my White Star Line ship had always rescued other people, and it always helped. And like I said, we'd done other things, like we'd run blockades. We even did spaceships and aircraft and computers and stuff like that. We did it all. We did everything. So, my White Star Line ships and all that. So they said if Lucifer White Star ever needs help, everyone will respond, even the French. So, it was one of those things. If I ever needed help, they said that everyone would come. And they did usually. They always did. Like, people would always come and rescue my ships, or do this or do that. Like I said, because we owned the orphanages, we owned the land, we owned the farms, we did everything. And generally, we worked with cooperation. People called us Germans. We had Germans, we had Irish, we had some Chinese and some Asians, or Asians really. You know, like I said, that's why in 1980 or so, when Rick Bush wanted me to go ahead and give the go-ahead to lock up some Asian people or Chinese people, I was like, no, I won't do it. It's not legal. I won't do it just because. So, and they harassed me for day after day after day after day after day, until I finally let them lock up some on a temporary basis. But I didn't really want to do it, and it was basically something that I was basically forced into doing. So, and technically it was done before I had even let them do it. So, like I said, technically I was their hostage or whatever. So, because I changed my name to Brian, Sis and Brian. So, anyway, I was a young child back then, and basically the world was coming down on me. So, anyway. And my name still is technically Brian, but I'm actually Lucifer White Star. So, anyway, yeah. Some would say my glory days are gone, but I don't know. The sun never sets on my empire, they said. But anyway, later on China would say for the empire, but it's like for Lucifer Star, really. But anyway, but yeah, we're an empire. Well, We're a group. Irishmen, Asians, lots of different people. Children, adults, old men. I said Germans. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, though, yeah. But things got messy and complicated. And people were trying to kill me. So, and trying to hunt down my people. So, I said most notably JFK, Nixon, John McCain, and a few other pieces of shit. And some black people like Papa, who were trying to run the Bloods and the Crips, I guess. So anyway, yeah, you know, just because it says White Star Lines on the door doesn't mean we didn't have black people to work for us. We had black people too, of course, but you know, educated black people and all that. So, and generally, you know, there was a feeling, although the black people were always distrustful or whatever, they always had their own little thing going, but that was probably because of Papa and other things, but just bad manners people. Anyway, though, I guess maybe it was only the Irish and only some of the Chinese and the English that actually understood what it meant to be a White Star Line employee. You know, the honor, dignity, and distinction for truth and justice and, well, they would say American way, but it's LS way, you know, Lusifer Star. It's my way of doing things. It's the way my people were, the way I was. Anyway. And it was all a perfectly good record except for the one time I nuked Japan, which I probably shouldn't have done. It was a mistake, but I don't know, you know, I was being manipulated and messed with, and there's a lot of forces involved. And I said some people that were very much psychotic, and I resisted them and fought them as long as I could. So anyway, but even a great man like me, you know, I do have my limits too. You know, I apologized to the Chinese and the Japanese and said I was very sorry and I owed them a debt. And even though they might say, no, you don't, I would say, yes, I do. So, and that's why I would respond and help Japan and China as much as I could, which I believe I did do. So, because even though it didn't really matter and nobody would have known, I would have known. And I would have remembered it forever, which I still do. So, I owed a debt, I always repaid the debt. Like they would say, Lucifer always pays his debts, LS. I always do. It's something I always did. And if I didn't pay my debts, other people probably would for me. But you know, I didn't let other people repay my debts. I paid them first. So, and promptly. And sometimes without even people asking. You didn't have to ask me for money. You know, or help. And that's one of the things about Lucifer White Star Lines too. You didn't have to ask us for help. We'd help you anyway. And sometimes whether you liked it or not. Well, you know. I was one of those people, you know, I couldn't just sat by. Sometimes, you know, you see something wrong. You just get to that point where you got to do something about it. I wonder why you didn't do something about it. And I always did. So did my people. So anyway. Yeah. It's the way I was. What can I say? It's everything America is. Lucifer White Star Lines. Me. My company. So. Yeah. Eventually we'd add some stripes and some colors to the flags, but yeah. You know. That's what the stars mean. Say, does that Star Spangled Banner still fly? Well, as long as there's someone to carry it. So anyway.